Hello, how are you today? We're so glad to see you. This week and the last week of this month, we are hosting Christian Conference Directors Weeks, 2 weeks. So you're going to hear from a total of 9 conference directors so that you can think and pray and plan for whichever conference, if any, in the first 3 months of 2019 that the Lord may want you to attend. And speaking of attending conferences in God's direction, does He want you to attend a conference? Well, let's turn that around just a moment. Might God want you to attend professional training and make the personal and professional contacts that are possible at every conference? When we put it in that light, it looks a little bit different, but no pressure. We just want to help you, give you information so that the Holy Spirit can direct you, and that's what we're here today to do. Hi, I'm Patricia Durkin, and this is Marketers on a Mission. We present marketing tutorials and interviews by and for Christian writers, speakers, and artists. This is episode number 167. Today is our speaker, Men Conference Director, Cindy Sproles. Hello, Cindy. We're rocking and rolling. I've got my water, and you've got your sweet Southern sweet tea. And
I do.
I wish I had what you have. Girls from the South, so we know what good stuff is.
That's right.
Run down just for a few seconds here. You're the executive. No, this isn't everything that you do. We don't have that much time. You're the executive editor of Christian Devotions. You are the managing editor for Lighthouse Publishing of the Carolinas. You're the director of the Asheville Christian Writers Conference. And you're the author or co-author of 6 books, including your latest 2 fiction works, one from 2015 and one was just released last year. Will you tell us about those 2 books, please?
Oh, sure. Do you want to see them?
Oh, we do want to see them. Yes.
This is Mercy's Reign. Mercy's Reign was my first book. It's Appalachian Historical, and Liar's Winter came out last year. Mm-hmm. So it's also Appalachian Historical. That's my brand. So
they're doing very well, aren't they?
Yeah, they're both books done by Kriegel Publications. So we're happy to have those finally making the world know a little bit about the Appalachian Mountains.
And I know I'm familiar with the Appalachians, but I haven't lived there. Why are they so special? You're a great advocate for them and their legacy. Why is that so special to you?
Well, because I was born and raised in the Appalachian Mountains, and I love this area. I love our heritage. It's not always an easy heritage. Back in the 1800s, it was really very difficult. So people who managed to live and survive on the mountains back then were pretty awesome people, just in the fact that they were very innovative, But the stories that I write are things that I want people to see. Everybody hasn't come to the mountains before. And I'm always preaching, you got to come to the mountains, because there's just something beautiful about these mountains. They're completely different than the mountains out west. And so I want people to know about the culture of the mountains and to know about the beauty of these mountains and the people that are here, because they're good people. They're good people.
Yeah. And solid as a rock, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are. They love you until you make them mad, and then they don't love you anymore.
And you know it.
And you know it. That's right.
Oh, gracious.
They're good people, and they're religious people for the most part. Their religion is woven in and out of who they are and how they were raised. And I think that's one of the things, too, that makes me love this area so much. People around here are genuine.
Yes. And their roots run generations deep, don't they?
Oh, yes. Very deep. And so, they run very deep, and they're very connected to one another. So, yeah.
So you grew up there. But how did you go from growing up there and starting your family life and so forth and writing fiction books about it?
Well, like I said, I just love this culture. They often say you can write what you are a lot of times, and I am this part of the country. People continually make fun of my accent. That's okay. I don't care.
We don't have accents.
But I hope that what they see when they see me is that the fact that I do try to be genuine, and I want them to know a little bit about me and a little bit about the area that I was raised in, and the people that I love so much here, and the area that I love so much. So it was just kind of natural for me. My stories are very character-driven stories, and they are dialect stories. So when you read Mercy's Reign or when you read Liar's Winter, you're going to be reading the dialect of the 1800s.
Oh.
So you're going to be getting all that I-ins and all that kind of stuff,
That's a natural fit for me. I have family who grew up in that general area, and then in the South in the mountains for different, different set of mountains, and very familiar.
Yeah.
These aren't your first two books. They're your first fiction books, though. So
these are my first fiction books. Yes.
At one time, Christ said, "It's time to start writing." What was the precursor for that? Do you remember? It's been a while.
I have been a writer all of my life. I think that's true with probably most writers. We started when we were very young, and we really didn't know that that's what we were planning to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of bloomed later in life because I chose my family first. I chose to raise my family, have my children, get them grown and up before I actually started to spend time on the things that I really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm a late bloomer. I didn't really get started in this business until my 40s. And of course now I'm way beyond that. Way beyond that. So it was just how I chose to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to do my family first and get them out on their own, and then I knew I could focus more on the things I wanted to do.
That makes sense, because it can be all encompassing, can it?
Yes.
And you've got so many.
It can be very solitary. So
yes.
So we tend to be recluse at times. So
yes, we do. We've got a couple of guests here today. Julie and Dibble. Hello, Julie. So good to see
Julie.
you. Barb is here. Barb Haley, Becky Spencer. So good to see you, ladies. We appreciate you joining us today. And, we're open for questions or comments of any kind. Well, behave. You got to behave.
We're not talking politics today.
Oh, no. So even though you're the director of the Asheville Christian Writers Conference, you and Eddie Jones, he's got a lot of fires and a lot of fingers and a lot of fires. You and he are ministry partners in some respects, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, we are ministry partners. I think in most every respect.
Oh, okay. How did y'all meet?
Well, we began Christian Devotions. This is our 10-year birthday this year. And we, sat back and talked a little while ago, or not today, but a few weeks ago, and about the fact that, all of a sudden it's 10 years. And the time has flown by. You say you have a ministry, you work in that ministry, but you don't really realize, I guess, the validity and the length of it until all of a sudden one day you realize, oh, look, we're sitting on 10 years. And so, yeah, God chose, we kid with each other and say that God chose two misfits from the island of misfit toys and put us together, and together the two of us make one pretty decent person. So we work hard together with the ministry. Our desire for this ministry was we met at the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference and we were just friends. It was that kind of thing where you met and you thought, well, I'll probably never see this man again, because that's what happens at writers' conferences. You meet lots of people and you think I'll probably never see him again. But that wasn't the case. Eddie contacted me and said, I have this website and it needs to have content, and you're already writing devotions, so how about you putting some devotions on the website? What I didn't know was that Eddie was a great delegator. And all of a sudden I realized I was the only one putting anything on that website. And I thought, wait a minute. And so we talked about it for a while. Eddie talked with his wife, Penny. I talked with my husband, Tim. And we looked at the website, and in December of that year, we realized that we'd had only 90 hits on our website. And we laughed and said, gee, 90 people had nothing else to do with their time but look at our website. And so we decided at that point, we needed to decide whether we felt like this was something that God was calling us to do, or whether it was just something we wanted to do as writers, and because there's a big difference. So we parted ways for 30 days, and my husband and I prayed about it. Benny and Eddie prayed about it, and we came back in January. And Eddie looked at the website, and we had gone from 90 to over 1,000 hits on the website. And so that for us was confirmation that, yes, we needed to be doing this. So we sat across the table tons and tons of times from people and saw good writers who hadn't had an opportunity to be published yet. So the prayer began that God would allow us the opportunity to make an opportunity for those good writers who have not yet had their chance, who got passed over, because it is a hard business. It's just like any other thing. You really have to work hard, and sometimes it is literally being at the right place at the right time. And it's God's timing. And that's the hard part for us to realize a lot of times. So God answered our prayer. He allowed us the opportunity to get to know editors and publishers, and give us the opportunity to build a reputation. That was a good reputation, so that they began to peruse our website and look at it and draw from it, and then and send us writers too. They would say, "Oh, maybe you should consider Christian devotion." So we were able at that point then to start getting writers to come in and write a devotion. We had to teach them how to write a devotion, and then give them their first publishing credit. And some of them, we have, over the last 10 years, we've had well over 800 authors who've written on the website for us. And so we look back at that and go, oh my goodness, oh gosh, I can't believe it. That many people have actually written devotions on Christian devotion. So, God has blessed the ministry. The word goes out. His word goes out. It started out 2 days a week, 5 days a week. It went to 7 days a week, and now it's year round. Excuse me, with 365 authors a year, and it goes to 171 countries. So we're small, but at the same time, we're not small.
Yes.
We're small on one level, but God's word is going out there. So as the result, twofold happens. God's word is placed out there, and then we're able to offer a good, solid platform for those new writers that are coming in. Well, even some seasoned writers that are just wanting to, get their name back out there. So we have that big platform built now, and so they get their first writing credit, and it's recognized within the industry. And so that was something that we continually say, thank you, Father, for answering that prayer.
Yes. That's a wonderful story. I love all of the things that you just said, and they're so clearly showing God's path. You just followed. He had already created the path. You found it and followed it. You didn't start.
We learned to try not to say no, and that can be a little scary when God asks you to do something. But we've tried to not say no, and He's always provided the way for us to be able to do it. So when we started the radio show, trust me, you don't want Eddie or I to be your radio host like you. But we started and learned, and then God dropped a couple of really good radio hosts in our lap. So he gives us the tools to do it. We just have to learn to say yes.
Well, let's mention a couple of things about Christian devotions. One, it's a non-paying submission, but the credit is the pay. That's the value of it, right? Serving Christ people and getting the professional credit.
Can I tell you a little story about why we don't pay?
Please.
Because we both did have that. Eddie and I both had that desire that we wanted to pay authors. And so there was one year that we started out, and the prayer was, okay, Father, will you provide so that we can pay our writers? And so it wasn't much. It was $10 a devotion. But we really felt like that's what we needed to be doing. But that's not what God wanted us to do, because the quality of the devotions hit the bottom. And we were getting things that came in like New Age things. We were getting people who would just send, they wouldn't even submit correctly. They would send us a link and say, here's a website, go get what you want, just send me a check. And so it was evident that all they wanted was that measly little $10. And so we quit. Mm-hmm. And because they didn't have the right heart. Mm-hmm. And from the very beginning, this ministry has been about the heart of the people and the people who have the heart for God. Mm-hmm. And so we stopped paying. And as soon, I kid you not, the week we stopped paying, the devotions started flowing in. And it's solid devotions and good writers. And so we learned right then and there that that's not what God wanted us to do. Mm-hmm. So, we always pray for money, but that's not always what God wants for you. Okay. So he wanted it to have the heart, the people to have the heart to write for him and to hear the calling that he was blessing them with and to share his word without, monetary value or monetary, compensation for that. And why he chose to do that, I don't know. That's a question we'll have to ask in heaven. But that's what happened. So that's why we're a non-paying market. So we know the people that come to us are going to be good, solid writers, even if they're beginners. Mm-hmm. And they'll have the right heart so that we can mentor them up to where if their devotions are not ready mm-hmm. to be published, we'll work with them. They'll have that teachable spirit, that right heart, so we can mentor them up and get them to a point where that their devotion can be placed on the website. So he had a purpose for doing it the way he did it.
Usually people submit to any place and they're not going to get mentoring. They're going to get the trash can.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
We try not to say no to them. We want to be able to, if they're willing to work, we don't rewrite it for them, but we do guide them through and help them get it to where it needs to be. So the ultimate goal is to get it on the website.
Mm. Okay, viewers, you've heard. We're just talking at this point. Cindy Sproles and I are talking about Christian devotions. We're fixing to go and move to the Asheville Christian Writers Conference. But before I do, I've got comments and questions, Cindy, so I want to check them. And also, I always choose the links. I select the links and gather them together for websites and Facebook groups and so on. So after the program, I will add all of those links up above the video. Let me go over here and see what's going on in Facebook land. Let's see. David Lebo says this is, I guess it's Jen. Jen Lebo says this is Jen from GPCWC. Greater Feeling. Tracy Bradford from Feeling. They're talking back together. 2017 alum. Several years. Jen Lebo says she thinks she started in 2009. And let me check. Sometimes I get more comments than Facebook shows me. So let me check because we have 11 and it's showing me 6. That happens sometimes. And it's frustrating. Let me just check. Let me check my handy dandy phone. Judy Gordon Morrow is here. Becky's here. And let me, here we go. I'm sorry, but I want to let people know. Yes. Okay. I think we've seen all of the comments. Feel free, though, to ask questions if you'd like, because that's what we're here for. All right. So let's talk about the Asheville Christian Writers Conference. How did it start? I have a feeling I know, but how did it start? Who is it you specifically for? I know you'll take whomever, but who's it really the heart of it?
Well, it started because we wanted to do something for those few little writers in the very beginning that were good enough to, offer us devotions. So we wanted to do a retreat where we called them all together. And so we had about 20 people the first year that were all writers on the website already. And then the next year, Eddie said, well, we really should offer them something when they come next year. So we offered a class on how to write devotions. And so we taught that, and we talked a little bit about the ministry and the desires we had for the ministry. And then it just kind of continued to, grow and grow and grow. So now we love the new writers. We love people who have never been to a conference before. The Asheville Christian Writers Conference it's Friday afternoon, Saturday all day, and Saturday evening, and then a half a day on Sunday. So it's really a boot camp of such. We used to call it boot camp. So when we get you there, we wear you out. We take a large conference and suck it down into a small conference and give you every aspect of a large conference at our conference. We want to be able to take new writers especially. I mean, we have tracks for both seasoned writers and new writers, and we have seasoned writers that come. So it's not that you don't have to just be a newbie. But our heart kind of goes toward those people who have never attended a conference before. Because we want to teach them what they need to do at a conference. If you've never been to a conference before and you walk in and all of a sudden it's very overwhelming, just not knowing anybody is a big step to get over. And so we do a roster at our conference where before the conference begins, we send that roster out email to all of our attendees. And they're able to look at a face and a bio, so hopefully that kind of breaks the ice for those people who have never attended. At least when they walk through the door, they'll see a face that's familiar to them. So we try to take that away. And then our goal, of course, is to teach them what they need to do at a conference, how to choose your classes. And they're learning these things, and they don't know that they're learning these things. That's the fun part about it. We're teaching them writing at the same time, but we're also teaching them how to go to a conference and what to expect at a conference. You know, you need to buy the MP3s or the CDs, and you need to plan on those things. You need to have mentoring if you're to a state where that you can do mentoring. You certainly need to do paid critiques, because it's great time with people who have knowledge that can be one-on-one with you. So, and then and then we give them the class time too. We give them those 15-minute appointments so that they're able to, sit across the table from somebody and learn what it's like to be there, and not to have to worry if they don't have anything to present. That's okay. Brainstorm, think of questions that you want to ask those industry people that are there. So we're giving them the writing basics that they need for those newbies. We have the more advanced stuff for those people who are more seasoned as well. So we have 2 tracks. Like I said, that first track is for those people who are newer, who maybe not have had anything published yet. And then we've got the track for those who are more seasoned and maybe who have been published. Now we do the mentoring. The last 3 years we've been mentoring, and so the people who are more well seasoned have really grasped hold of that. And are spending that time with those one-on-one professionals. So that's that kind of sets us apart and makes us a little bit different.
Yes. And we're going to
try our best.
Pardon me?
I said we try our best.
Oh, your best is pretty good. Pretty good, way up there. We're going to dive deeper, viewers, into all of these aspects. What is now stepping up and stepping out? Are those representing the titles of your tracks, the 2 tracks? Yes.
Stepping up is that beginner section or that newbies section. And then stepping out is the more seasoned group. The nice thing about our conference, too, is our faculty is small. Excuse me. So one of the things that they learn, that our conferees learn that they don't know that they're learning, is we make sure that the faculty teaches both groups. So
crossover.
Yeah. So that way, when you come in and you want to listen to Bob Hostetler, or you've heard about Bob Hostetler, you don't have to worry about skipping out of the track that you're in, because Bob is going to teach you too. And so we try to make sure that we switch them over. And that they each one, our 3 primaries, speakers that come, we make sure that they flip over and, you have the opportunity to learn from them both. We start encouraging people now by email to say, this is what you need to plan for. Plan to purchase the MP3s, because that's the whole conference. And we want to do that, because it doesn't matter if you come to our conference or if you go to Blue Ridge or if you go to Florida. It doesn't matter. Purchase those, because you have a conference year-round. And the classes that you might wish you could take, or maybe you skipped out of, we got them, for the year before. So I always get them wherever I go. I get them, and when I travel, I put them in the car, and I get my own training, by listening to them on the car. So those are the kind of things that we try to encourage people to do and to learn to expect to do this. This is what you need to do. So stepping up is for those newer people. Stepping out is for the more seasoned.
So 2 things. I love the fact that you cross over the faculty, because typically there's that upper echelon, and if you're not in that upper echelon as far as skill set, then you miss those people, and they're not better people, but they offer a different perspective and give different insights than the other faculty. Everybody's an individual, and they give their own insights.
Yes.
To be exposed to the ones that are really up there on that level is, I'm not saying that well, because I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody, but I think the viewers know what I mean. It's usually you're on a track. Those are the only people that you have access to, and in this case, you're saying that at some point, either track, all the attendees are going to be exposed to all the faculty. That's unusual and a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Well, because when you go to a conference, it's like you said, especially if you're brand new to a conference, you may have heard of an author, and so your instinct is to lean that direction because you've heard of that author before. They may be teaching an advanced class, and you aren't to that level of learning yet. And so we figured we could kind of beat that in the head by crossing those people back over and making sure that they teach a newer class as well as an older class. Newer and older, it makes it sound like old people.
It also adds value, because those people who may have followed in that track that you were just talking about, where they went to the more advanced track because they saw somebody that they were interested in learning from, and then they're in over their head. Yes, and I can say that the reason we do that is because my very own personal experience. Very first conference I went to, I knew nothing about the writers that were there. I saw Stephen James, and I thought, I saw his book in the store, and so I kind of followed Stephen James, and the classes that Stephen were teaching were wonderful, but they were more advanced classes. And all of a sudden I realized after a couple of years, I realized, you know what, I learned things backwards. I kind of learned the advanced stuff before I learned the basics. And so for me, I had to backtrack and learn the basics. So that's why we do it the way that we do it. Now, we can't hog tie somebody and make them stay in that track, but that's why we encourage them to buy the MP3s. Our MP3s are $35, for the entire conference. And then what we do at our conference is we make this really nice printed book. So we don't have a bunch of handouts that you have to lose and pick up and crash. We print them. Thanks to Lighthouse, we are able to print them in a book. And so they have all their notes, all the class notes from every class, and they buy their MP3s. And when they go home, the classes that they didn't get to take, they have the pages, the handouts in that book, and then they have the MP3. So they still get the entire conference. And that's well worth it, I think. Plus, they're learning the right direction that way. They're not running backwards like I did. Now, if someone does not attend, do you sell the MP3s to the public or only to attendees?
Only to attendees.
That makes sense.
And we do that for a reason, because our faculty times to spend that time with those people, and those people pay to come to that conference. And so it's only fair for them to have those. So we copyright the things that we have, and we ask that they not share them, because we want them to come to a conference. Not trust me, we don't make any money on this conference. We don't, because I already told you what God does with money in us. So we don't make any money on this conference, but we want them to buy those MP3s so that they have this conference, down the road. They can always come back to it. They can always refer back. And like I said, when I'm traveling, I put mine in the car and listen to them, because I still have to have continued education. So yeah, that's how we don't sell them outside of that.
$35 is an unbelievable price for all of that content. And
Yeah.
I take my hat off to you to be able to do that. And to be willing to do that, because it's a lot of extra load on you, isn't it? Or somebody.
It is. Yes, it is. We have to record them, and then we have to, load them up and get them ready to go, and then distribute them. But that's okay, because we want people to be able to have them.
Yeah.
And like I said, be able to go home with what they've left.
Yes.
After you've come to a conference, your head is just spinning by the time you get home.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're worn out. You take stuff in, but then you have to go home and kind of, think about it for a few days. And then you realize, oh, I forgot a lot of things that I learned. And so this way, you don't have to worry about that.
Mm.
You can watch it, learn it, relearn it.
That's what I do. Crank it back up.
Yes.
Julie Dibble says that this is the first conference that she ever attended. Asheville was the very first writing conference I ever attended. Yeah, baby. It's good to have you here, Julie. I had a question, and it's gone just like that. It'll come back. Location is, give us the location. We're doing the nuts and bolts, everybody. So we've already talked about the name of it. We talked about the day. It's February the 22nd to the 24th, Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. The location is?
The Cove, the Billy Graham Training Center in Asheville, North Carolina. So if you've never been to the Billy Graham Training Center, to the Cove, you're in for a treat.
Yes.
Just driving up that mountain and, driving into that building or up to that building, you like, ooh, this is nice. It's a beautiful venue, and I'm telling you, people, it's worth it just for the food.
Oh, this is one of those conferences that has good food?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yes. So I don't think there's anybody that walks away from there that says, boy, I can't breathe. I'm so stuffed. Because the food is so good. So, yeah, it's well worth it just for don't come for the conference, come for the food. At the Billy Graham Training Center, Billy and Ruth Graham did such an amazing thing. When they decided to do the Cove. And it's a retreat center. It is for adults. So children are not allowed to come to the conferences there. But it's that way for a reason. Because they want you to have that spiritual experience that you need to have uninterrupted. And so just the people there are wonderful, and the venue itself is beautiful. Everything in the buildings was picked up by Ruth Graham. It's just, it's just kind of neat to learn the little bits and pieces. But it's we fill up their whole third floor. They go out of their offices and give us their office space. So we fill up the whole third floor of the Cove. But it's a beautiful place. It's the Cove, the Billy Graham Training Center. It's just a few miles outside of Asheville, maybe 10 miles outside of Asheville. So it's a beautiful place.
There is a deadline to register, and this conference sells out every single year. So
Every year.
Pay attention to the deadline. When is that, Cindy?
Well, the deadline is when we sell out. And so let me tell you this at this point.
Okay.
On campus, which we have reserved 65 rooms on campus. Those are sold out. But we still have space for about 15 to 20 off-campus register or conferees. So don't let the fact that we say off-campus scare you, because at the foot of the Cove, literally, there are 3 hotels. So within 250 feet, or yards of the hotel, you just drive right into the Cove. They're right there. The cost of being an off-campus, by the time you get your own hotel room, is not maybe $25 difference than if you were staying on campus. So it's not that big a deal. So here's what happens when you are an off-campus conferee. The cost includes your conference fee and all your materials. It includes all of your meals at the Cove. So yes, you still get to eat at the Cove. So you don't have to worry about, buying your food. The only other thing you have to do is just get your hotel room. And like I said, on the website, scroll down the registration page, and we've got the names and numbers of those hotels listed there. So don't let off-campus scare you away. All you do is just drive up, and there's plenty of parking and plenty of room, for you to be there. So we've got space for about 15 to 20 more. And I anticipate by the end of the month this will be gone. So if you are planning on looking and coming, then don't hesitate, because we do fill up fast.
And that's going to be in 2 months. At the end of this month is November, the end of November, and then it's at the end of February. So I mean, people are hustling. The reputation is out there.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. We have some questions. And for those who are watching, before I get to the questions, I want you to know there's very important information about a contest that you won't believe, and it's going to be near the end. So do stick with us. Julie Duble, I don't remember the food that speaks to the heart. That's what she remembers, is the atmosphere, the caring. I'm adding some words to her and interpreting.
And she doesn't remember the food?
Well, here's some other comments. The location, she's not going to be able to come this February. Praying for all who attend. Tracy says, Tracy Bradford says, I lost connection. I may have missed this, but can those who cannot travel to attend also pay to purchase the conference courses? Now, Cindy has addressed this, but will you mention this again, Cindy?
Yeah, no, we do not sell those outside of the conference. We made that decision not to do that. So,
and every conference director makes their own decision about how they set the parameters for their conferences. Yeah. And I can see, as somebody who isn't going this next year, I can see why $35 would be like, oh my, how could I not get that?
Yeah.
But what if I've invested X number of hundreds of dollars, and then Joe Schmo,
exactly,
the same information for $35? Now you still are missing the environment, the camaraderie, the atmosphere. You're missing all that, and that's a huge. You can't really put a number figure on that, but that's a huge part of any conference, isn't it, Cindy?
Yeah, that one-on-one connection that you have, and that's one reason we can only have. This is another choice that we've made, is we can only have 125 conferees, and so. And we do that for a reason, and it's because, and we've struggled with whether or not to allow it to go larger than that, because we could move downstairs and go larger, but our heart is, we want them to learn to know what it's like to have that one-on-one personal attention, for them to be able to sit down with agents and publishers and authors, and just be able to sit down and spend that time with them uninterrupted. So it means a lot when you're small. Like I said, we've struggled with whether or not to go larger with this, but we want people to have that, like you said, that camaraderie and that true experience of being able to absorb what happens in a conference, and what to learn, what to take away from that conference. And on a smaller level, you can do that.
Yeah. Now, also, viewers, I want to let you know that yesterday when we interviewed Edie Melson and Diane Mills from Mountainside Marketing, who also are their sister conferences, Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference, and that's a mouthful every time I say it.
It is, I know, I struggle too.
And then Cindy's conference, both of them are on the smaller side. That doesn't mean that all conferences are on the smaller side. We'll be interviewing people from mega conferences. So what I want to do for you is give you a smattering, a very broad reach, so you can begin to think and pray and plan. As for Christmas gifts to go to conferences, I want to give you the information that you need to make an absolutely fantastic first conference, because I went to 2 just to learn the ropes of how to go to a conference before I ever started learning. It was a totally new experience for me. I had never been to one. That was just like a dream come true. Like, maybe one day you'll be president. Well, maybe one day I could go to a writers conference. And then it came true. And it's like, whoa. But I was a total newbie, and I was on the low end of the newbies.
Well, I tell you, one of the things that we really strive to do is we love for people who are our repeat comers, who keep coming year after year. We love those people, and we want you to continue to come. But, the goal for us is to be able to bring those people in and let them learn how to go to a conference, and hopefully they spread their wings and they go to the larger conferences like Florida and Philadelphia and Blue Ridge. Mm-hmm. And so our numbers show that happens every year, which is exactly what we want to see happen, because now they're learning to step out. So like last year, of our 115 total conferees, we had 32 that went to the Blue Ridge Conference in the same year. So they left us in February and then stepped out and went ahead and went to a larger conference. Mm-hmm. We had 6 that went to Eva Marie in Florida. Mm-hmm. And I think we had 4 that went to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So, that's what we want to see happen. We want to see them come, learn how to go to a conference, and then spread their wings and step out on the desire to know more about their career, learn more about their career, and go to the next level where they can have those larger opportunities than what they have with us. You can keep coming. We love you to come.
And your personality and character, you're very nurturing, and your is very nurturing. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. Everybody knows it. So tell us about the scholarships, please. What's the situation with the scholarships?
We do scholarships. Most of the scholarships that we do are partial. We have a couple that are full scholarships, but most are partials. And so that time is coming to an end where that you can apply for that. Just so you know, I am not the one who picks those. Don't go there. Don't do that. I give all that to somebody else to do. Mm-hmm. So we have a committee that reads them, and they choose the ones. And it's always hard to have to choose, who will get a scholarship and who won't. We just pray that God will continue to provide for us so that we can. And just so you know, the MP3s, the money that we get from the MP3s, that's what goes into our scholarship fund. Oh. That's what funds our scholarships. So when you purchase the MP3s, you are giving money for our scholarship fund. That next year will help someone else be able to come that might not be able to come.
That's cool. That's cool.
We also do that with the book sales, part of the book sales from our bookstore. Mm-hmm. After we take a small portion of the book sales from our faculty, just a small portion, and then that goes into our fund for our scholarships next year.
Okay. If you're considering going to a conference and you've never been to one before, or just as a reminder, if you've already been and you're considering what were we just talking about? A scholarship or a contest or fill in the blank with pay attention to the date, because usually those items are due months, not the week before the conference starts. Months, but people are, professional people have to work that into their schedules. So don't dilly-dally. If you're considering it, pay attention to those dates.
Yeah, we will be announcing our scholarships at the end of this month. Excuse me.
Yeah, so 8 weeks, 9 weeks prior to the conference even beginning. So, and that's very typical, very typical. All right, let's talk about your fantastic faculty, please.
They have special hearts. We put a lot of prayer into who we ask to come as our keynote speakers. This year we have Eva Marie Everson. And if you haven't ever had the opportunity to be around Eva, then you need to take that time, because she's wonderful. She also is the director of the Florida Christian Writers Conference. But Eva she is just a wonderful speaker and an amazing teacher. And then we have Paul Stetler, which we love to tease Bob, but he is not only a very successful author, but he's also an agent with the Steve Lobby Agency. And if we love Bob to do keynotes, because I promise you walk away going, oh my goodness. Yeah. And then we have Lucinda McDowell, who's coming with us this year, and she's a speaker and a writer. And so I'm anxious for people to get to know her, but she's just got the sweetest heart. And actually, she ended up, we found out, she grew up in the Asheville area. So so this is kind of like home for her.
Yeah.
So we have those three primary folks that are coming. Edie Melson, which you talked about earlier. Edie is one of our staples because, she is the guru of social media. So every year Edie comes. And then we have Lynn Johnson, who is the director of Right to Publish in Wheaton, Illinois. And she's also a Christian communicator. She's with Christian Communicator. And she does that nice little book called the Christian Writers Christian Writers Market Guide. Blah, blah, blah. So Lynn is wonderful to learn from. We love having Lynn there. And then we have Barry Leach, who does some mentoring for us, and he teaches as well. So we've got a number of really good people who will be teaching. We have a small faculty, but hopefully we hit the needs of what everybody needs.
Yes. About the genres, do you do fiction and nonfiction, and how broad do the genres go?
We try to give you a taste of both.
Okay.
And so it just depends on what those faculty members are well versed in teaching. So we try to get them to do fiction and nonfiction. Mm-hmm. So we hit it. We also have editing. We have people who work on editing, do classes with that, so people get some self-editing in and learn those kind of things. So genres, everything. We do the best we can do to cram it all in. So think about going to the grocery store with those little plastic bags and, just continue, how you get home and you've emptied all your groceries and you keep stuffing them into the bag. So we keep stuffing stuff into the bag, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So when you leave, you've got a bag full of stuff, a big bag full of stuff.
Wonderful. Let's just quickly hit attire, climate, terrain.
Well, once you get to the cove, you don't have to walk very far. So you don't have to worry about that. If we are in the lower hotel, they bus us up every 5 minutes. They run a bus, so you don't have to worry about walking. They get, because it's a steep hill. It's the mountain. So they take you up, and those buses run around the clock. So you don't have to worry about that. It is February. We have not had snow. We always start praying now that God will provide safety and no snow for us. And every year we might have a flurry, but we've never had snow while we've been at the cove. One time when we began this at Ridgecrest, it snowed. But Asheville is so accustomed to that. That even when it does snow, they have the interstates and stuff cleared within just a few hours, and so you don't have to worry about it. We also on our website offer travel insurance. If a place where you can go get travel insurance if you want to come and you're scared. Downside is once we pay the cove, I can't refund that money. So if you chicken out at the last minute because you're afraid it's going to snow, and I can't help you because I still have to pay for the room. But like I said, God's been good to us for the last 9 years. We haven't had snow. We've always had really good weather. It is cold generally, so we ask people to be warm because you are in the mountains. Just be modest. We prefer that your jeans not be see-through. We want you to, at least when you come to the cove, because there are other conferences going on. So we don't want you to, look like you just come off of the, I don't know. I don't want you to look like you're falling apart at the same. We want you to have your jeans on, but, don't have holy jeans, the right kind of holy jeans. Be warm. So we just ask that you be honest with your dress because, you are in God's presence of God and in the midst of a bunch of other people. So we want you to be comfortable but warm.
Yes, yes, yes. And you can be both. You can be both.
Yes, you
You can be
can.
both. You just have to think ahead. And this is what this whole program is about. All these Conference Directors Week is to help people think ahead.
Yes.
Now, how do we find updates? Do you have information on your website? Do you have a Facebook group, which I know you do, but I'm asking the question. Do you have
We have a Facebook page, but the best place to get the information is on the website, because we have a tab that says Conference Notes and Updates, newsletters.
Okay.
And so right now I'm doing maybe 2 newsletters a month. When we hit December, those will start weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and here's one of the other things too that's unique about us.
Oh.
Because in January, 7 weeks prior to the conference, we start every week sending conferees additional work that they can do at home, additional teaching. So our faculty will provide blogs that give them additional teaching. So those come weekly. So it's not something that you have to send back to us, but we want you to have as much information as we can. So we start to send you blogs with things that you can do at home and practice at home and apply to your writing at home. And so every week, 7 weeks prior to the conference, you're going to start getting those additional things from us.
That's really stupendous. You
Yeah.
hit the ground running.
We do. We already want you wore out when you get there.
Now I've got the link to the Facebook group. And speaking of, let me ask you this last week, but we'll move on. But can they join the Facebook group before the conference begins?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Could they now, or do they need to register first?
No, they can join the link.
Okay.
They can join our Facebook page just fine.
I got that link ready for you. As soon as this program is over, I'm going to pop it up for you.
And actually, when I don't do a whole lot, because I'm one person, and I'm looking for help. So if anyone wants help, but we do start to post all those additional things on our website, so you can sign up for the website. And when those things start to hit, you'll get those letters too.
Okay. Let me check. We've got 3 more things to talk about, and that's really some of the unique, meaty, can't believe I got this result at a conference. That's what we're fixing to talk about. But before I get there, let me check and see. Judy Gordon Morrow says, Cindy is a Facebook friend of mine and has been a delight to get to see and hear her. Love her sweet accent. I love her emphasis on prayer and seeking God in everything. Lisa Kibler says, Bob is too funny. She says punny, but I know.
No, she's right, punny. No, she's right, punny. And if you don't friend anybody on Facebook, friend Bob, because he is the king of puns. He is a lot of fun on Facebook.
He is. He's really delightful, and excuse me. Even though he is very witty, there's purpose and depth to his wit. Usually, isn't there?
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh
yeah.
Selling.
Yeah, I can't harass him too. Yes, Bob usually has good stuff to go underneath there.
Okay. Let me get a fresh refresh and see if we have any comments that I cannot currently see. And while I'm doing that, tell us about the devotional contest, please, and when it closes.
The devotional contest generally closes about mid-January. And it is, you can send 2 devotions in, and we do a devotional contest. So and all the devotions that come in, we try to pass on to our editor of Christian Devotions, and we hope to get those all up on the website.
Nice.
So even if you don't win the contest, which, winning the contest is not, that's not all there, your devotion will hopefully be put on the website. So another reason to enter.
Yes. And you've got critiques and mentoring. Can you run those down for us, please?
On the website, you can list through all kinds of critiques, from fiction, nonfiction. We have speaker critiques too. Linda Gilden, who will do speaker critiques as well. Latan Murphy, who is going to do some. Linda mentors as well, but Latan also, she not only does our pardon me, sorry about that. She not only does our sorry, I didn't know the phone was going to ring.
It's okay. We're live. We're just
I
rolling.
can't get rid of it. She not only does our mentoring for us, but or our shoot. Now I lost my train of thought. She doesn't only do our worship. We're talking about LaPan. She does our worship for us, but she's also going to do mentoring for people who want to do a ministry because she has a big ministry herself. So she will help mentor people in how to start a ministry, how to get going with it, and Linda does. A lot of speaker stuff and also nonfiction. Larry is doing nonfiction. Yvonne Lehman will be there, and Yvonne will be mentoring fiction. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving some. Oh, Edie will be mentoring blogs and social media. Mm-hmm. So those are additional things that you can do. Critiques are there. Also, mentoring is there. So you can look on the website and you can see all of those things on there.
Are both of those $50 a piece?
Mentoring is $50 a piece. The critiques are a little less than that. I think 25 is mostly what most of those are. So you can participate in that. And we really highly recommend that people do that, whether it's mentoring or whether it's the critique, because that's one-on-one time that you get to spend with those individuals. A critique is a 15-minute appointment, but still in 15 minutes you get one-on-one notes mm-hmm. and somebody who's looked over your work and said, you got potential here, and here's how we can help you, improve that or do it better. So, I encourage people to do that. Had I've known or had the opportunity, 10 years ago to be able to be mentored by Yvonne Lehman, I would have paid whatever I could have paid to sit at her feet and learn fiction, on a personal level. So it's very well worth the opportunity for your, to improve your writing and to improve your career.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the mentoring sessions are 60 minutes, aren't they?
Yes. Some of them may be, yeah, they're an hour, and some of them may be just a hair over that. They may be an hour and 15 minutes. Just depends on what subject is working on, and individual mentors will.
So 60 minutes for $50, and you get access to people who are at the top of their game.
You are the only person with them.
Willing to tell you how to do that.
Yes.
That's a steal. That is an absolute steal.
Yes.
If you don't have the funds for all these various things that Cindy is talking about, or even the conference itself, have peace. Ask Christ. Allow Him to serve you, to gift you with any of or all of these expenses. Go to your church, go to people that you love and that respect you and value your gift. Even if they don't really see, and sometimes writers, when we begin, people don't really get what we're talking about, why it's so important, and what are we talking about? Why are we spending money on this? Yeah. Let them do all that work. Don't let him just do all of that. You have to have heard story after story through the years, Cindy, haven't you? Of the Lord supplying.
Yes. I'm sorry.
And sometimes at the last minute.
Oh yeah, at the last minute. Yeah, we've had things that have fallen through, and things that have come through, and people have, sometimes we have people who we don't expect to give us, come and surprise us with additional funds. So we're able to call people at the last minute and say, you know what, I do have a space available, and I do have funds available. And even those people who have applied for a scholarship that might not have gotten it, when we win and if we get additional money in, those are the people we go to first, to make sure that if they've gone ahead and signed up anyway, then we try to go ahead and make sure that we, address with those people first if they still have a need. Yeah.
Wow. That's big, important news. All right. Here's the big kahoni. Here's the big one.
Maybe the phone won't ring this time.
It's all right.
Sorry.
So you and Eddie, you're ministry partners. And some things you're in charge of and some things he's in charge of. He happens to be in charge of a publishing house, and there's some connection to the conference. What is that connection exactly?
Well, the nice part of that is that we are able to have Lighthouse Publishing of the Carolinas being one of the publishers that comes there. And so we have some of our managing editors who are there who are looking at work. So that's a nice thing to be able to sit down with us as publishers, and talk with us. The other thing is, through Lighthouse, we do our Badge of Honor contest, book contest. So book doesn't have to be finished. It does have to have a few chapters done. And we do a contest, which is, again, Sarah Loudon Thomas does that contest for us. And she goes completely outside of our conference to writers who are very well published, and she sends those entries to those people, and they're judged. And the winner of that contest has the opportunity for their book to go to the publication board of Lighthouse Publishing of the Carolinas. Now, it has to meet the correct criteria, for it to be there. It may or may not be a book that is something that Lighthouse needs at the time. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for you to skip all of the steps that normally you have to go through, like having an agent, and that kind of stuff. And you're able to skip all that stuff and go straight to our publication board and let them look at it, see if it's a book that is something we can use. And we have published 4 books. We've been doing the contest 6 years, and of the 6 years, we've published 4 books from the conference that were conference winners. So, we're happy. We're happy about that.
That's a big, hairy deal right there.
Yeah, just to be able to have the opportunity to go before a publication board without, having to go through all the hoops is nice. Now, we can't publish the book until it's finished,
No.
So you got to write the book, if you're going to have an opportunity. This 4 chapters is not going to get it, so you finish the book, and we want you to finish it and do it well.
Yes.
But we have published 4. In fact, Karen Bell is one that we're getting ready to publish her book, and she was one from the conference that her book came through. Laura Poole is one, and oh shoot, they've left me. Nan Jones is another one. So we've had some good books that have been published through that contest. So I encourage you to finish that book. You don't have to have it finished for the contest, but work on that as quickly as you can and get it finished.
And there's a very small entry fee. So tell us what that is. But I also wanted to ask, Cindy, can we have multiple entries? Can we submit multiple entries?
Yes, you can. You can submit multiple entries. And again, the money that comes from those entries goes to our scholarship fund. So, see, everything we do, we try to put back into the conference. So, that way we're able to provide for people to come.
Tracy Bradford says, I was able to attend my first conference thanks to prayer and God opening the door with a last-minute extension of the scholarship, which I was given, she received one. Going to the conference literally changed my life. When God leads my writing career to have enough, I plan to give back by donating to conferences for scholarships for others. Thank you, Cindy.
That's good. And that's what we hope people do. We hope that, they have gained enough from the conference that they can, from our conference, that, their heart is in the right place to say, you know what, this happened for me, and pay it forward. You don't have to pay it forward to us, but pay it forward somewhere.
To the kingdom.
For somebody else. And, we've had a lot of those people, recipients, who have contacted us specifically for another conferee and said, I want to be able to provide, but I don't want them to know it's coming from me. So we're able to, give scholarships from other, scholarship winners to specific conferees that they request that. So, that's kind of nice. We like to see people pay it forward. One other thing that we do at our conference is we like to make our conference have some sort of other meaning other than just writing. So we believe in missions and benevolence. So for the last 4 years, we have supported the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Bob Hostetler's has 2 grandbabies who have cystic fibrosis, and we have family members ourselves who have cystic fibrosis. So at our conference, we've been able to say we have a box, and it's called the Bob Box. And we encourage people, we start now with our letters when they go out, think about this, if God moves you to donate to cystic fibrosis, and put it in our Bob Box. And so we've been able to, the last 2 years, I think last year it was around $1,300. And then I think the year before that, $1,200. So every year we're well over $1,000 to help Bob in his endeavor to raise money for cystic fibrosis that benefits his grandchildren. So we want people to have not only an experience of being able to come to a conference and enjoy that and take away something from it, but we also too want them to have that heart of benevolence and to know that what they've done has benefited somebody that they personally know.
Love that. Love that. Linda Gilden is here too. So, hey, Linda, it's good to see you today. All right. So this is a great detailed overview of the Asheville Christian Writers Conference that is being held February the 22nd through the 24th, 2019. I've got all the links already pulled up for you. Cindy Sproles, the director, so grateful that you had the time to come and talk to us today.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry the phone rang.
That's not the worst thing's ever happened, so don't worry.
If it makes you feel better, I'm sitting on the phone right now.
Oh, gracious, you are dedicated. Cindy has already agreed to join us again post-conference. And us understand how to write devotions for Christian devotions. And they have a technique that they suggest that people follow. She's going to run through that for us. So this is not the last time we're going to see Cindy, and we're going to be blessed every single time. Thank you very much for being here, Miss Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us, because you're the reason why we're here. If you have questions or comments after the program ends, you're welcome to post them. We'll be glad to talk further. This has been Marketers on a Mission, episode number 167. Author, speaker, and mentor and conference director, Cindy Sproles. Tomorrow, I'm going to be hosting Laura Christensen. She's the marketing director for the West Coast Christian Writers Conference, and it's also held in February, because, these 2 weeks, the first and the last week in November, are conference directors' weeks to help you prepare for the first 3 or 4 months of conferences. Just educate you and, encourage you, and let you meet people right up front and close and personal, so that you really feel like that might be the conference for me. We're here every day, every weekday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. This program is exclusively for you, to help you learn the craft of professional writing and speaking, because our mission field is online. God has called you. He's entrusted you with a message and a gift, and we want to help you get that online so the gospel can go forward. Thanks very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.